Becky.
This question comes from Dennis DeGennaro. As Warren stated in the 2022 annual report, Berkshire will always hold a boatload of cash in U.S. Treasury bills. It will also avoid behavior that could result in any uncomfortable cash needs at inconvenient times, including financial panics and unprecedented insurance losses. After Warren passes away, his A shares will be converted into B shares and distributed to various foundations. These foundations will then sell the shares to fund their causes. Warren estimates it will take 12 to 15 years for all his shares to be sold. I worry that a corporate raider like Carl Icahn or a group will buy up enough of these shares to take control of Berkshire and completely disregard Warren's philosophy of holding a lot of cash in U.S. Treasury bills and instead be greedy, reckless, and highly speculative, and ruin Berkshire's position as a rock-solid financial fortress. I also worry that changes might be made in how Berkshire's subsidiaries are run. Do Warren and Charlie worry that these things could happen?
Well, I think it's fair to say we think about it plenty, but I don't worry enormously. If we, it is true that Greg and the directors will have a honeymoon period for a long time simply because of the votes that will still remain. I mean, but it's true that eventually they will get judged based on how well our operation fares versus others. Now, if we don't pay any dividends in 12 or 15 years, you're talking $1.5 trillion that it would take to take over. I think if we can't, that limits the group. They like to think about how much they can borrow against it. It doesn't work when you, and some of these, there's nobody that can come close to doing it themselves. And I think that the important thing is that Berkshire be regarded as a national asset rather than a national liability. We've got to be a plus to the country with our form of operation, and we certainly have got a record which will then be 12 or 15 years longer, done with much more capital, more companies, more things will have happened where our hundreds of billions can work its way into the economy in terms of lots of jobs, lots of products, lots of behavior, and it can be compared with other things. So I think we win out if we deserve to win out, and I think the odds of that happening are very, very, very high. Charlie?
Well, I don't spend much time worrying about something that's going to happen 50 years ago and after I'm dead. I think if you sort of take care of each day's responsibilities pretty well and think ahead as well as you can, then you just take the results as they fall. So I'm philosophical about it. But I'm not, I think he's fretting unnecessarily.
Okay. Neither one of us are worried, basically. But we plan. We do plan. And you know, I've got a model in my mind of what Berkshire has been. That model it's been modified plenty of times over 58 years. The one thing I knew initially or very quickly, was it shouldn't be a textile company. That was an important decision. And we've just played the hand as it come along, and we made a few really good decisions, and we'll never make a decision that kills us. The only things that are a threat to the planet, we don't have any answer for those. But we keep ourselves in better shape than anybody else. And we just aren't going to have big maturities of debt that come along. We aren't going to have insurance policies that can be cashed in en masse, and we will sit with what looks like a huge amount of capital, and it is a huge amount of capital, but there's a huge amount of earning power, there's a huge amount of diversity, everything. So our business model will be graded, and it'll be graded against a whole lot of people that we'd like to be graded against. So I think we're handing something very secure over to the future, and I think we've got the shareholder base. like nobody has. I mean, there isn't anybody in the country that I know of, unless they've had an employee-owned company prior to going public or something of the sort. But this is the product of 58 years of regarding the shareholder as the owner of the company. But what does that mean? That means having happy customers. It means being welcomed by your community rather than having them turn you away. It means that the government feels better with you if there's a financial crisis because you can provide something that actually the country can't under some circumstances, and you'll be there. And at the same time, it'll be good for the business. And we will have crises of one sort or another, but if they aren't challenging the planet, which worries you in terms of some of the threats that we have, we'll be a plus to the United States, and if we're a plus to the United States, we'll survive. Okay.